104.5, the team, your home for New York sports. The big news in the NFL is that Tom Brady, his appeal has been rejected for the 4 games. So we need to know exactly what's going on with this, and that's why we reach out to Shalise Manza. She's now a writer for Yahoo Sports Shutdown Corner. Shalise, you have been the voice of New England Reason on this show for a long time now. So is this over? Will Brady serve the 4 games, or does the saga continue?
I think it will continue. I don't think he's brought it this far to back down now. I would be surprised if he didn't appeal to the Supreme Court, to get a stay, and then to see if they would hear it. Even if they don't hear it and they agree to a stay, then at least he would be able to play and go on, because if he does sit out the suspension and then the Supreme Court did by some almost miracle decide to hear it, he would never get those 4 games back. And obviously for him, time is of the essence. He's going to be 39 on August 3rd. So, he thinks he can play forever, but he can't play forever. So every game now, going forward for him is a bigger deal, because, the end is in sight. In reality, he can only play for a few more years at a high level. So, I do think he'll keep fighting it, because I think he really believes that he was wronged in the beginning, and from the NFLPA's perspective, that the fight here it's more than just whether or not there was air taken out of football. It's Roger Goodell, and did he overreach with the decision that he made in the first place?
Shalise, Wolf actually brought this up yesterday on the air. If he gets it put off, and he plays the first 4 games and then ultimately does serve the 4 games, and it's later on down the road in a more crucial time, isn't that kind of bad for the Patriots?
It would be. I don't think, though, I think if the stay comes, if they do agree to do a stay, I don't think they would hear the trial, they wouldn't hear the case during the season anyway, not because it's the NFL season, but I think just because of the timing of how the Supreme Court goes. That's my understanding from seeing, people who know far more about the law than I do. Their opinion on it is that if he did get a stay, if they did agree to a stay, I think he'd be able to play this entire season. I don't think it would affect the season just because of when would the Supreme Court hear it.
Now, Shalise, when do you think we're going to hear as to whether they approve a stay or not, or whether they agree to hear the case or not?
I'm not sure. I mean, he hasn't even filed the paperwork yet, so I think, that has to happen first. And then the stay, they would obviously ask for it to be expedited if that comes into play, because the regular season is getting closer and closer as I think NFL franchises are mandated to tell us every Sunday we're one Sunday closer to NFL football, if you're on Twitter at all over the last couple of weeks. So, I think first and foremost, he has to, make that decision. Are they going to apply to the Supreme Court? And then the decision would be made from there.
Shalise Manza, she's our NFL writer for Yahoo Shutdown Corner. Now, you covered the Patriots for a long time. Am I crazy as a non-Patriots fan? Let's say Brady does serve the 4-game suspension. Isn't this the perfect storyline for them to just, put their backs against the wall? We're underdogs again. Everyone's out to get us, and just go ahead and win the AFC East and probably the Super Bowl again?
Yeah, I think certainly so much comes into play that they will find the silver lining, or they can find the silver lining. There was a reporter here in Boston yesterday when the news broke that said, I've talked to people within the Patriots, and they're actually fine with the suspension because Brady can rest this way, and he won't have the wear and tear on his body. And so there's one silver lining. And then, of course, there's the Jimmy Garoppolo angle. And if, Garoppolo does play the 4 games and he plays well, then the Patriots can flip him for at least the second-round pick they spent to get him a couple of years ago. So that would work out in their favor. And, there's all sorts of ways that people are trying to look at it on what could be made as a positive from this. And then there's always, there's the us against the world, and everybody hates us, and fans around here are very fond of saying they hate us because they ain't us, and those sorts of things. And people are just really upset, and I think a lot rightfully so, that it's gotten to this point over this particular situation. You see the case with the Jets player, was it not Mo Wilkerson? I'm drawing a blank. I apologize. But, the player who was in a car going well over 100 miles an hour with a 12-year-old, and marijuana and a loaded gun, and he gets a 1-game suspension.
Right.
So, to the rest of us, that's far more egregious from a player conduct standpoint than, flimsy evidence that maybe you knew that air was taken out of footballs. And then, of course, in the case with Brady, there's also science that kind of backs up the fact that it could have just been completely natural. Again, was it a bad look? Of course. With the balls being taken into the bathroom, that was definitely not a good thing. But, I think the Patriots, they always try to look for some angle that they're underdogs or, the us against the world type of thing. And if they have to play 4 games with Jimmy Garoppolo and not Tom Brady, then, that just enhances the notion that everybody's against them. It's just the 53 guys in the locker room and the coaching staff, and nobody else believes in them but them.
Shalise, just to go back to the Richardson situation, Richardson, what he did was pretty egregious, but it didn't affect the outcome of a football game. Now, what Brady did, allegedly, could have affected the outcome or the play in a football game, no?
It could have. It absolutely could have. And I think if you, as, people have said ad nauseum up here, when the legal footballs, quote unquote, were used in the second half, when they put new footballs that were properly inflated in the second half, Brady statistically was even better in the second half of that AFC Championship game than he was in the first half. So, it's hard to say did it really impact or influence the outcome of the game, if you look at it from that perspective. It is really hard, I think, to know how much the inflation mattered and if it was a big deal. I think I've always thought that people hear it was underinflated and they kind of think Brady was playing with this, squishy Nerf ball, like it was that easy. It wasn't that much of a difference. You know what I mean? I think everybody loves showing the picture of a completely uninflated football, and they think that's what Brady was using, and it wasn't. So it does certainly reflect, again, yes, it could have influenced the outcome of that game, but I don't know that it did. I don't think it's the same as, if he was shaving points or something like that. If he deliberately threw an interception in a key situation, to keep the score close or something like that, obviously that is something that really does impact the outcome of a game and stuff.
But that makes Pete Rose very happy.
Yes.
Shalise Manza Young from Yahoo Shutdown Corner. Shalise, one of the fan theories I've been hearing up here in upstate New York at 104.5 The Team, your home for New York Jets football, is it would be perfect Patriots right now to go and use their available cap space to sign Ryan Fitzpatrick to have him as a backup for the first 4 games so the Jets couldn't have him.
That would be, I don't even know if Bill would go quite that far, because that's a lot of money to spend, and Fitzpatrick sounds like he wants to really play, not be a backup to a backup. But yeah, that would definitely add a whole new element to the border war. I think that would go nuclear at that point. But the Jets need to fix that, man. I mean, you're really gonna just go into training camp with Geno Smith as your starting quarterback? Really? I don't know about that one.
Shalise, are you hearing anything about that? Is there any kind of, forefront, some thawing in that cold front between the team and Fitz?
No, not that I've heard. I think everybody's kind of taking a break, a much-needed break, at least the beat reporters that I know who cover the Jets and stuff. But no, I haven't heard anything. I haven't seen anything. So, yeah, that needs to – I don't know what's going on with that. I understand, I guess, you don't want to overpay the guy, but, again, really, you're going to Geno Smith? I don't know about that one.
Shalise Manza Young from Yahoo Shutdown Corner. Shalise, thank you for putting some light on the Brady situation. We really appreciate your time.
You bet, guys. Have a great day.
You too.